What's the good word, y'all? Welcome to the New York Jets Syndicate channel. It's your boy DKB here. So, finally, kind of wanted to dive into the whole Quinnen Williams situation, the diss he put out there on Twitter, which, according to what I caught up on, Quinnen Williams scrubbed all Jets related content from his bio, maybe pictures and stuff too. I'm not too sure about that. But basically, his new bio essentially reads defensive tackle for the dot 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 dot. Basically, he's not planning on claiming the New York Jets until he gets his contract extension. And so, to kind of go back to the beginning, we know during the offseason, Quinnen Williams put the message out there that he feels he's came in, he's performed, he's done everything the correct way. He hasn't caused issues. He's been a leader, both vocally as well as by through achievement out there on the field, in the locker room, outside of the facilities. And now he feels like it's his time to be rewarded. And he felt like this should have happened earlier in the offseason. He mentioned skipping the voluntary portion of our OTAs if we weren't able to come to an agreement, and he's sticking to his end of the bargain. Add on top of that the fact that he is expecting his child, his firstborn, to be coming into this world pretty soon. You have the factors with Joe Douglas and his side, where we were focused on Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr. We get that figured out. Then we still have to go through our whole free agency process to bring in fresh blood. And then, you add in the NFL draft, what's happening with undrafted free agents after. And I'm sure there's limited time, as well as, limited focus, at least on the time, with Quinnen Williams and his contract. Although we did hear 2 or 3 times for sure from Joe Douglas himself that he mentioned the contract extension being in a good place between them and Quinnen Williams. Obviously, Quinnen does not have that same understanding on his side with this most recent update from him. And so ultimately, I would say it's not time to panic. We are at a point now where Joe Douglas can firmly sit down, entrench himself with this team, get after a lot of these contracts. We're seeing the Carl Lawson restructure, as well as probably some other ones that's coming, like Corey Davis, for example, to continue to open up some of that cap room, get Quinnen Williams extended, and ultimately this will blow over. Quinnen Williams isn't making waves here. He's not going out into the media. He's not pulling a Jamal Adams on us. It's pretty quiet from all fronts. Probably the least dramatic contract extension dispute since maybe Muhammad Wilkerson, right? And from what I saw, Spotrac put something out there like a 4-year $106 million contract, something like that, ultimately, which they think is what fair market value is. There's a report that's saying that Quinnen Williams thinks he deserves anywhere between 25 to 30 million per year, which will put him firmly entrenched as the number 2 defensive tackle in the league based on annual value, just under Aaron Donald, above recent guys like Hargrave, Dexter Lawrence, Jeffrey Simmons, and it would be well deserved. He's, from an efficiency standpoint, he's doing more with less reps than any other defensive tackle in the league. So I feel excited about that. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the fact that we don't have as much drama going on with this particular dispute, I actually really like Quinnen Williams' agent as well, Nicole Lynn, the one that brokered the deal for Jalen Hurts. I think this will ultimately end up being nothing. We'll see his Twitter bio change again, let's say within a couple weeks. There are 2 deadlines that we want to look at before things start getting a little bit crazier, right? We have May 22nd to the 24th, I believe, which is our mandatory mini camp. Everybody's going to need to show up. That is not voluntary. And then we have our first preseason game, which is August 8th, I believe. Once we start getting into that range, even though we're not really looking to play our starters and different things like that, Once we start getting into that range of preseason games and stuff, and we don't have a contract or he's not showing up, because we're also scheduled to have joint practices and things again, I think that's when you get worried. A lot of people want to just push this to the back of their mind and say we're not close to week one. I think August is realistically that deadline where we need to start being concerned if we don't have something in place by then. But we're less than a week out from this mandatory mini camp showing up. If he decides he wants to skip that as well and it's not due to like the birth of his child or anything, time to panic. But yeah, for now, it is what it is. I mean, ultimately, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars. There's a lot of other things that are going to come up, right? Not only do they need to figure out what the average annual value that he's comfortable with, you also have to get into the guarantees, what the incentives are going to look like for him to try to increase his, max value for his contract, all of those things. So let's just be easy. We'll talk about potential trade destinations if things go super south, and hopefully never. That's my thoughts on it. But let me know where you guys are at with it. How concerned are you, or are you in a place of comfort? Also, keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers is going to tamper down a lot of this negativity that's coming up from this situation. So I think overall it's been well handled from both sides, and there's not much to be concerned about. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.